Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. We begin at the nation's top office where Indonesian President Joko Widodo arrived at the Malacañang Palace today for a bilateral meeting with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Widodo is on the second day of his three-day official visit to the country, which ends tomorrow, January 11. He was given arrival honors at the Kalayaan grounds before signing the guest book at the reception hall. Marcos and Widodo are expected to release a joint statement on the issues that they will discuss during the bilateral meeting. The two leaders are expected to discuss the relations between Indonesia and the Philippines and reaffirm their commitment to strengthen them. A state banquet was also prepared for Widodo and his official delegation to the country. Widodo arrived at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay City on Tuesday night. Marcos previously visited Jakarta in September last year. Among the topics expected to be raised during the meeting is the Philippines' renewed request for clemency for Mary Jane Veloso, who is currently on Indonesia's death row for drug charges. Marcos vowed that his administration would continue to seek pardon or a commutation of sentence for Veloso. Before Widodo's arrival, Manila and Jakarta signed agreements for economic partnerships and cooperation in resolving regional issues, including tensions in the South China Sea. The Philippine National Police says this year's grand procession for the Feast of the Black Nazarene was generally peaceful. The Quiapo Church Command Post says the whole procession took 14 hours and 59 minutes as it started at 4:45 a.m. at the Quirino Grandstand and ended at 7:44 p.m. official time. This makes this year's procession the earliest to finish so far. In a statement, PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajaldo says this year's Traslacion was generally peaceful, except for some reports of injured devotees and spectators and those with minor illnesses. More than 6.5 million devotees attended the procession of the Black Nazarene, encased in laminated tempered glass for the first time. The PNP earlier said the movement of the andas or carriage of the Black Nazarene moved faster compared to previous years. Meanwhile, the Filipino Catholic Church is seeking to declare January 9 of every year as a national feast of the Black Nazarene. Father Rufino Sascon, rector of the Archdiocesan Shrine of the Black Nazarene, says the Manila Archdiocese is awaiting the Vatican's decision. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines approved the proposal during their plenary assembly back in July last year. Cardinal Jose Advincula, Archbishop of Manila, says the declaration of a national feast will bring order and joy to millions of devotees of the Black Nazarene, especially those who cannot go to Quiapo. In other news, a House official denied allegations that the additional 12 billion peso budget of the Commission on Elections under the 2024 national budget would be used to push for charter change. House Appropriations Committee Chair Elizalde Co says the funds came after the Comelec asked to restore the budget cuts made in the 2024 National Expenditure Program. The Department of Budget and Management's allocated budget for Comelec was 2 billion pesos or 17.4 billion pesos less than the poll body's initial proposal of 19.4 billion pesos. Co said the Bicameral Conference Committee approved 14 billion pesos out of Comelec's originally requested amount. Meanwhile, the balance of 5.4 billion pesos was included in the unprogrammed funds for future funding. The House Leader answered the claim of Albay 1st District Representative Edsa Lagman that the 14 billion peso allocation will be used to fund moves to initiate charter change. Co dared Lagman to prove how Comelec's budget would be used to push or finance proposals to amend the 1987 Constitution. A look at world headlines. South Korea's parliament has just passed a landmark bill to put an end to the eating and selling of dog meat. The move is said to be in response to the increasing support for animal welfare within the country that would also put an end to their controversial and centuries-old tradition. Following approval by the Non-Partisan Agriculture Committee, the bill, which was proposed by the ruling party, received overwhelming support in a single-chamber parliament with 200 votes in favor and only 2 abstentions. The legislation will take effect after a 3-year grace period. Violators will face harsh penalties such as up to 3 years in prison or fines of up to 30 million won or about $22,800. Eating dog meat was traditionally thought to increase one's stamina during the summer. However, a growing number of Koreans now view dogs as cherished family pets, and an increasing number of older people are no longer practicing this habit. According to the Korean Association of Edible Dogs, the ban is expected for 3,500 farms that raise 1.5 million dogs, as well as about 3,000 eateries. Weather Bureau PAGASA predicts that this year would be one of the warmest years on record. According to PAGASA Assistant Weather Services Chief and Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section Chief Annalisa Solis, the warm or dry season months of March, April, and May mark one of the warmest years ever recorded due to the ongoing effects of El Niño. She also says only 2 to 5 typhoons are expected during the first and second quarters of this year. She says the rainy season is still expected to start during the second half of May to the first half of June. Meanwhile, PAGASA encouraged the public to take appropriate steps to prepare for El Niño, including conserving water and electricity and taking precautions against warmer temperatures. PAGASA also says temperatures in the Cagayan Valley region could rise beyond 40 degrees Celsius. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the PNA Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our webpage, pna.gov.ph, our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account, via the News and Information Bureau website, nib.gov.ph under PNA News, or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. I am Bench Bondoc. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.